let's move on to example 2. Okay, so a particle moves in a straight line and passes through a fixed point O. Its velocity is given by v is equals to t squared minus 60 plus 8, where t is the time in seconds after passing through O. By assuming motion to the right is positive, okay, find the initial velocity. Again, when we talk about initial, we are talking about when t is equals to 0, when time equals to 0. So what are we going to find? What is velocity? So let's look at A first. Okay, so A, when t equals to 0, we need to find v. Do we have velocity function? Yes, this question is given velocity function. So we have v is equals to t squared minus 60 plus 8. So what is the initial velocity? So we just substitute t is equals to 0. So v 0 squared minus 6 times 0 plus 8. So our initial velocity is 8 meter per second. So you need to know before the particle passes through point O, it has its own velocity, which is 8 meter per second. Okay, so let's look at B. So what is the minimum velocity? So again, when we talk about minimum, we are talking about when dv dt is equals to 0. So we talk about dv dt is equals to 0, in which we are talking about acceleration is equals to 0. So when dv dt equals to 0, what is v? So this is what this question talking about. So B, when dv dt is equals to 0, so what is maximum of v? Okay, so we have v. So v is equals to t squared minus 60 plus 8. So our dv dt is 2t minus 6, in which we say that it must be equals to 0. So what is the time when it reaches maximum velocity? So when it reaches maximum velocity, it will be 3 seconds. So what is our maximum v? So v, again, t squared minus 60 plus 8. So in order for us to find maximum velocity, you need to substitute the value of time in which it reaches maximum velocity, in which 3 seconds. So I will substitute t with 3. So basically we have 9 minus 18 plus 8. So we have negative 1 meter per second. So when the particle reach maximum velocity, the velocity is negative 1. Okay, so next C. Find the range of values of t when particle moves to the left. When we talk about range, we are talking about inequalities. Okay, so when the particle moves to the left, movement. So we are talking about velocity. So v less than 0. So for C, v must be less than 0. So t squared minus 60 plus 8 must be less than 0. So from here, you need to find the roots of t. So we said that it must be t minus 4, t minus 2. So we have t equals to 4 and t equals to 2. Again, when we talk about range of quadratic function, we need to sketch. Okay, so this is minimum graph. So I will sketch minimum graph, in which our root t is 2 and 4. Okay, so this is our v. Okay, but now we are talking about when v is negative. So in which part v is negative? Of course, under t exists. So this is the part in which v is negative. So this is where v less than 0, and this is where v greater than 0. So what is our range of time? So this is our range of time when v is less than 0. So 2. Understand? So we need, okay, you need as we have learned more, you need to know that all of the topics that we have learned, we are going to implement in some topics, just like this. This is from quadratic function, right? So quadratic function information that you have learned in quadratic function, we need to apply in this topic. So this is why maths is quite interesting for me. Okay, so because it tests you on your knowledge. Okay, so please, when we talk about range of time, we are going to talk about inequalities. Okay, so when it involves quadratic, so quadratic function, you need to sketch the quadratic graph. Okay, so this is C. How about D? Okay, so D, find the total distance travelled by the particle in the first 4 seconds. So we are talking about when t equals to 0 until t equals to 4. So S is equals to 1. Okay, so okay, again, when we talk about total distance, okay, this is our V. V t squared minus 60 plus 8. So, total distance, it is helpful if we sketch the graph. Okay, I just sketched. It's okay. I will sketch it again for you. So, this is our graph. Our t before 2 and 4. So, this is 8. Okay, so this is our V. Okay, so total distance in the first 4 seconds. So from 0 to 4. Again, where is the area we are talking about? So this is the area in which it consists of 2 different areas. Okay, from 0 to 2 is the positive area. However, from 2 to 4, negative area. So how can we find the total distance? We need to integrate separately. Okay, so our total distance will become from 0 to 2 t squared minus 60 plus 8, integrate with respect to t, plus with the integration from 2 to 4 t squared minus 60 plus 8, integrate with respect to t. So remember, this is the negative area, so you need to put the modulus sign, the absolute value sign. So the integrate t cubed over 3 minus 3t squared plus 8t from 0 to 2 plus the modulus of t cubed over 3 minus 3t squared plus 8t from 2 to 4. Okay, again, show the substitution of the values. Again, show the substitution of the values. Again, show the substitution of the values in this term. Okay, in this expression. And then we will have this part 20 over 3 plus negative 4 over 3, in which it is the same as 20 plus 4 over 3. So we have 24 over 3. So actually our total distance for the first 4 seconds is 8 meter. Okay, 8 meter. Again, I remind you, when we talk about total distance, especially if the function of velocity involving quadratic, sketch the quadratic graph. Okay, because it is helpful for you to determine whether we are going to integrate it together or separately. So when it involves 2 different areas, positive and negative, you need to integrate it separately. You cannot integrate it all together from 0 to 4. It is wrong. Completely wrong. Okay, so we are going to discuss on example 3 in the next video.